Hi, I'm Jess.
And I'm Beck, and we help business owners live a complete and full lifestyle that includes their business and their personal life.
Today we have Jenn Paez on with us, and she is a co-founder of a nonprofit called Medicine of the People. I would like to introduce her to you today and have her tell you a little bit about her and her business. Jenn, can you tell us a little bit about your business and its purpose?
Hi everyone, my name is Jenn, and I also go by the name Amua Surjit. And the reason why I'm bringing that up in relationship to your question is because the name Amua that I was given means a rainbow woman. But for me, it also means building bridges. And that's what I've always done in the world, is build bridges with people from all types and walks of life. And so I started this business with my husband. His name is Paul, but he also goes by Kiat Swin. And what that translates to is medicine wolf, which means to him, it translates to bringing family together. And so when we put that together, our mission with this nonprofit is really to build bridges with all peoples, all colors, all nations, all walks of life, and to bring them together. And the ways that we bring them together is through ceremony, through ritual, through meditation. You know, I am a Kundalini yoga teacher, and that's one of the primary ways that I gather in groups of people. And we also work with sound. You know, I'm a gong sound practitioner with the Gong Avatar Academy based in Costa Mesa, California.
That's quite a mission.
And with numerology. What's that?
I said, that's quite a mission.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot we want to do in the world.
That's awesome.
Yeah, really awesome.
Cool. So is this your first entrepreneurial experience? Like a lot of times you're like, heck no. Everyone's like, no way, I've had like 1,000. So what was your first? Like, how old were you? Like, what was the pull and what was your discovery?
You know, I think it was about 12 years ago. So I was 30,
mm-hmm.
You know, and it was around these basic themes as well. It was around meditation and food. You know, like I had used food as a medicine for myself because I was really sick, you know, growing up
mm-hmm.
and at that time point in my life. And so changing my diet drastically changed my consciousness and also the way that I moved in the world. And so I learned a lot of different ways on how to make food that was yummy.
Mm-hmm.
And it became kind of an art project for me because I like to do art in all forms in my life. And
mm-hmm.
so I wanted to share that with people. So it was with food, both teaching people about healthy food prep and then also selling it to them. And then it was around meditation and art. So really this similar theme, you know, it was called Emerge Alive.
Yeah. No, I love to ask people that question because, and then like you actually just proved my point that it's always kind of an evolution of who you are and like kind of what you see the opportunity in the world is and what your drive is. So like perfect answer, you totally passed. But I think it's important because entrepreneurism is a journey, right? And like I was 8 and I sold Avon, which is hilarious. But it's, you know, and then I've just like built on that my whole life. But like entrepreneurs are special. We're very vulnerable, very open, and all of us, like making your own money is great, but all of us do it to serve other people. Like there's a message or a skill or a tool or a product or a service that we want to share with the world. And that's why we're doing this. Like we want to create a platform for people to be transparent and vulnerable. We're not trying to pretend that every day we're making $1 million in the bank and everyone loves us and all of that stuff. Like this is a very personal journey. And so that's why we're doing this series, is we really want to pull that out. And thank you for sharing and being vulnerable, because this is a journey that a lot of us are on right now. So great to celebrate and share in kind of what we're all going through to like bring our thing to the world. So I love the question. I always love to ask it.
Yeah, thanks, Becca. You reminded me that I used to sell lemonade when I was around 8 too.
Nice. I love it.
There we go. Food.
We have found after working with a lot of entrepreneurs that we all tend to have that same tendency, that we started figuring out how like the economy and business works at a young age, and we were very interested. We were like, what could I do to make money? And you're like looking around the house, oh, I could sell that. Not everybody thinks like that. So we're kind of a breed of our own, where we're in the world of creating something, not only to give back, but to also, you know, make the money.
Cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So during this journey, I'm sure you've had a lot of successes and also things that haven't worked out the way that you thought they would. Can you share maybe something that has worked well that you consider a good success?
Yeah, I had a raw chocolate company a few years ago, and one of my other food adventures. And that one I feel, you know, was really worked well in the sense of I created the recipe and then infused in Ayurvedic principles into the chocolates and had different spice blends. And I remember it just feeling really easy to get into stores. You know, at the end, I was probably in almost 25 different locations. And, you know, and people still wanted it. Like I still have people that come to me and say, when are you going to start making the chocolates again? Or do you still make those? Or you know, how do I get them?
So what was easy about it? Like, I'm curious, like, even like, you know, what made it easy?
You know, it was easy. What's that? What made it easy?
Yeah.
Was that your question?
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the things that made it easy is that I was calling in prayer, you know, like I made these chocolates with prayer and a lot of intention, and I made it a ritual every day. And so for me, it was very in my heart to do that. And then I think that helped the process of me, you know, I would call people and tell them about them. And I mean, almost each place that I tried to get them in, it was just like, yes, you know, they just said, yes, I want that. So, you know, as we're talking about that right now, that helps me remember and be reminded of one of my huge missions on the planet which is to pray and to, you know, to spread that message, you know, in some way. And it was coming through the chocolate.
Yeah. Chocolate's a great way to get people's attention now.
It is. There's very rare people that don't like chocolate. You know, I've
Very rare.
Awesome. So, you know, as just mentioned, like it's always in kind of up and down or, you know, whatever journeys. So we love being vulnerable here and sharing. So I'm going to ask you the flip side of that question, which is, you know, what would you say one of your biggest failures in business is or has been, and what did you learn?
And if you don't like the word failure, you can put in something like learning experience.
Yeah.
Well, you know, so I had a different adventure. I was trying to start a beverage company, another health food adventure with a person who I thought was a good business partner for me. And I mean, we worked really tirelessly on this project for many years together, you know, probably almost 7 years.
Wow.
We met every single week, sometimes twice a week. We all were always emailing, texting, you know. I did a lot of research on it. And I signed a contract with him, you know, actually during what's called my Saturn period, which Jess knows a lot about because we just did an interview about it. Yeah. And so what happened was I signed a contract with him during my Saturn period, which is not the time that you want to do that, because Saturn governs challenges and karma. And it set this theme with us that then everything was really hard, and we started fighting, and ultimately our friendship wasn't able to withstand the thing, and our business went apart, and it was really, really challenging. And so one of the things that it taught me was, there was also several people in my life that were telling me, be really careful with this business partner. And I couldn't see it, like I was really, really set that I wanted to start this business,
Mm-hmm.
And so it started helping me see more cycles in my life. And it also led me into a path of listening more, and listening and then consulting with people. And then also, so many things. I will never sign another contract again without really, 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 really understanding what I'm signing.
Doing the due diligence.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I like how you reflected on what you learned from it, because that's exactly what we want to do with failures or learning experiences, is see what it taught you so that you can implement something for the future.
Yeah. Well, and here's the truth. We're going to fail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And actually the only way to figure out how to succeed is to fail. And just like you said, you're like, I learned so much that I know I'll never repeat that ever again, right? And even better, I'm going to give that advice to other people. So I really like to, I like to just have an air of like, failure's okay. And it's even more important, instead of being ashamed of a failure, to actually share it, because that's how we all learn. So again, another like hard question we put in there, because it's important. And partnerships are tricky. I mean, in anything, right? Even in marriage, that partnership is tricky. So, and when you're, like we call it, when you're in business love, it's just like being in regular love, where you're like, oh, whatever, and you just like miss a lot of things. But yeah, that's a pretty costly lesson. So thank you for sharing, because that's something that everybody would have an opportunity to butt up against in business. So that's a big one. Good point.
Yeah.
Cool.
Welcome. And I feel like it translates to, one of the things that I now do in my business, which is talking about cycles. Mm-hmm. And working with the energies of what's available, rather than and entering into something consciously, or as consciously as we can, rather than, I had no idea, like most of us were not taught, something like that in regular life in the societies that we live in. And so if someone had been, counseling me on that, or had made me aware of that, I would have paused.
Yeah. And I just have to speak into that a little bit, because Jenn, you've offered me so much as far as cycles and getting in front of your cycle. And I just finished a Saturn period, which people can learn about from you. And it was my second time experiencing it, knowing that that period was coming up, and that opportunity that we have to be preventative rather than reactive is gold. Mm-hmm. So it's great tools that you're offering.
Yeah. Everyone right now is like, how do I figure out what my Saturn period is? Don't worry. We'll tell you at the end.
Yeah.
All right. What did you want to ask Jenn next?
Well, this month we're focusing on our customer journey. And as we build business and we decide who we want to do business with, and that becomes our potential client, there are certain things that we do to start having a relationship with that client. And based on what we're selling, it looks different in all different businesses. So if we're in the world of real estate, and that's like a big purchase price, your customer journey might take a long time, and it might have several touch points. Mm-hmm. And if you've got something smaller that is a less cost, less commitment, it might go a lot faster, and you can just jump right from meeting to selling. So based on your business and what you've developed with Medicine of the People and providing these ceremonial experiences with your clients, can you tell me a little bit about what that customer journey looks like and what you've learned about really developing a customer journey path?
Yeah, sure. Well, so I usually meet people either through a referral or through, and sometimes that's in person or on the phone. Today it was on the phone, or I meet people at a class that I've taught or at a workshop I've taught or at a ceremony that I've given or that I meet them at, and we're just kind of networking. And somehow we start talking, and either they already know what I do or they kind of think they know what I do and they want to know a little bit more because they have been told by someone that I can help them. And then we start talking about, if they know what I do and they're already interested, then I can already fast forward them to telling them about the basic kind of reading that I have with people, which is where I like to start. And it goes over 3 different types of numerology, and then what people receive, is this really meaty reading together that's recorded, and then it's also given a PDF, and then they're given an actual tool. What I like to do is give people tools, practical tools that really work in the world that we live in today, because there's so much information out there. Astrology will tell you, well, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, and this is wrong. Good luck, But with Kundalini Yoga and the things that I do, it actually gives you a toolbox to say, these are the challenges and these are the gifts. So this is what I recommend. You're totally free to do what you want to do. And let's tailor it to you and see how we can work together to get you what you want, which is the person today wanted, she said her nervous system is very amped up, and she's heard that Kundalini Yoga is very activating, but she also heard from someone that she trusts that I can give her a program that will help relax her nervous system. So
what would it look like? Sorry for interrupting, Jen.
That's me.
What would it look like for someone who just is like getting started? Like they're brand new to maybe energy work or numerology or even astrology, maybe even yoga, and they're like just in this inquisitive, can you tell me a little bit more? And you could even apply it to the call that you got today. Like if she were just one of those new beginner clients, what would be a way that you could interact with them, or even what would that duration look like?
It's a good question. So, I offer a 20-minute consultation for free for people that, anybody that wants to call and set that up with me or email me about it to do it. And then, like today, it was just a cold call that I answered, and we talked for about 15 minutes, and she told me what was happening. And then she was just ready to book a session. She didn't even ask how much it was. She didn't, she just wanted to know the first available session that I had, she could come in.
Yeah.
And then I don't have something for 2.5 weeks. And so she said, well, can we meet online? And I said, we can, and she goes, well, is it better to meet in person? And I said, well, it is actually, then we can go over the meditation a little bit easier, and I can work with you. And then she's like, can you send me something in the meantime? And I said, well, then I need your birthday. So I needed a little bit of information, and I'm, so that's an example of one type of thing. Another is somebody will call me, and they won't know anything about it, but they've heard a little bit about numerology, and they want to know, well, what are you going to do? Analyze my name or something like that? What does that mean?
Yeah.
And so then I just tell them that I give practical tools to help people figure out the cycles in their life, both yearly and also within a 365-day period of 52-day cycles. And then also giving them 5 numbers that help them know their strengths and their weaknesses. And then we go forth with that with an actual practice. And then I explain a little bit more about that. I try to keep it simple.
Yeah.
And then I invite them to come to a Kundalini Yoga class, because I teach during the week community classes if they haven't experienced it. All of these practices that I do are more of an experience than trying to explain something. So I really encourage people to come and experience it for themselves, and see if it resonates for them, and if it does, then we have another conversation.
Cool. That's so awesome. And then I know that you do like lots of other work with ceremonial experiences in the world of experiences. And there are lots of people that you work with that have been in this world for a long time. So do you have any longer programs of working with somebody who is past the beginner stage?
Yeah, I do. I have, I can tailor a program to almost anything anyone wants. Currently I have 90-day programs. I also have a 1-year program of the 7 52-day cycle. So someone can meet with me every, 45 days or so. And then I can give them a different meditation that's based on the specific period that they're in. It makes more sense if we had more time to talk about it, but somebody can meet with me for 1-year period and go through 7 different cycles with me.
Yeah.
Or we can do a 90-day meditation program after they have the base reading, which they receive a 90-day meditation. And if somebody has a challenge doing a daily practice, which most people do. I know I did. I had a huge challenge with committing to a daily practice. So, I now have had one for a long time, and I know the little tips and tricks and little ways of how to cultivate a daily practice so that we can be more even. It's not just about going to a class once a week, and then feeling good after that class. It's about how can we have our daily life be a little easier.
Yeah. That's one thing that really helped me a lot, because I did Jenn's 90-day program and really implemented that daily meditation into my life. And that was very, very profound. But I would say the customer journey since then for me has been to stay more involved in all of the ceremonial work. And I'm so impressed with the groups that are gathering with you, and also the work that you're looking to do in the future with, maybe I'll let you speak into it, the work that you're doing in the future. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, so that moves into more of doing stuff more with my husband, we do co-creation really well together, and we have lots of plans to travel and connect more with different ceremonial and wisdom keepers around the world, so definitely his ancestry is from South America, and so we have lots of plans to travel down there and connect more with his roots, and then also see where that leads us.
Yeah.
We have people in North America as well, that ceremonial leaders that we go study with and that we know and that we'd like to, I don't know what word I want to use. I don't want to say assist or help, it's more, and I don't want to say promote, it's just like kind of be a hub of information.
Facilitate, yeah.
Yeah, be a hub of information of just like, hey, if you're looking for this, this is what this is. Again, I'm a bridge builder, and he's, and I'm good at connecting with the type of person that maybe someone, I walk in both worlds.
Yeah.
And and so does my husband, but he's also very good at bringing people together. He has that like pack mentality really well. So, there's lots of prophecies about this time period, and, that they're all have the same threads of all people, all nations, all types of people coming together. And, race and color and gender and, all those things are going to be less, becoming less important. And, even though they're very, very, very hot topics right now. And, it's like, there's one prophecy that says by 2036, we'll be fully into what's called the Aquarian age right now. And we've been transitioning into it for a while, since like the 90s. And so once we're fully in, then it'll be easier. So for the next little period of time, it's still going to be kind of bumpy. But, I also really believe that we're talking about this right now for a reason. And it's because we've agreed to help people, during this time period, like to make it a little easier, because it's really challenging for a lot of people. So
yeah, I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward at what you're building and who you're currently working with right now, and really looking at the customer journey. It's really nice to see that someone can get started as a beginner, or somebody who has been in energy work for a while and have a place to go do ceremonial work. But no matter where you start working with you, I find it so awesome that in order to stay connected with you on your customer journey, that you'll continue to share and you'll continue to connect that bridge with your new clients and that world that you're creating for the future.
Okay, Jen, so you've given us a lot today, and some people are like, yeah, that's so cool, I'm so familiar with it. So people might even know you already, and other people are like, Saturn, what? Pluto, Mars, Venus, not sure what this even means for me or my business. Like, what is a great first step? Like, how can our people, what do you have to offer, like our community or people watching this, that would be a great first step for them?
Well, what I want you all to do is to go to my website, medicineofthepeople.org /sessions, and then you'll see where to schedule a 20-minute free consultation with me. And then I can talk to you about your needs, your wants, and definitely tailor all the offerings that we have to something that would really work for you.
Cool, a free session. That's awesome. Thank you so much for offering that. And thanks for being with us today. Like, again, everybody, there's just all different kinds of business. It all serves a purpose. It's been awesome to hear your purpose and what you've had to share today. And we are always happy to support you as well. So thanks for just taking the time out to educate us and share with us and be vulnerable. It's been awesome speaking with you today.
Yeah, thank you both. I really value all of the information that you offer and that you've given me and that we have in this time together today. So thanks for that.
Fantastic. Awesome. So don't forget, go to medicineofthepeople.org /sessions and click and get a free 20-minute session with Jen. You won't regret. It'll be awesome to get that insight. Thank you.
Trust me. Thanks, Jen.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.